today we are trying to talk about egg, table egg production. And as you can see, worldwide, Nigeria is number 17 concerning the number of total egg produced. And you guys are actually close to the Netherlands. We are number 19. And 40% of the production in the Netherlands is for domestic use. And 60% of our egg production is being exported around the world. And if you are an exporting country, your customers require top quality of products. Good in price, but also good in quality. Good in logistics. And I can tell you that the logistic issues, the cost price issues, and the quality issues are on a very high level in the Netherlands. You also see in this slide that the number 1 of egg production is China, number 2 is the United States, and number 3 is India, and number 4 is Japan. Those are the real big egg producers. But most of the eggs produced in those countries are produced on deep litter or in cages. The eggs produced in the European Union are not produced in cages anymore, but I come back to that later. If we talk about the egg market in Europe, you have to understand, please, that the egg market in Europe is very diverse. In the past, we were using a production method called cages. Today, cages are not allowed anymore. Since 2012, the European law has forbidden to use cages. You still can use cages enriched. It means you need to supply in the cage some scratching material, some perches, and some nesting systems. But today, what you see the most in Europe, it's called aviary systems. It means the birds are free to walk all around in the house. They are free to drink, they are free to perch, and they are also free to lay eggs. And the aviary systems, they supply all those needs for the hens. Another system which is very, very common today, it's called barn egg production. And that means you have a nesting system in the center of the house, you add some slats against it, and the bird is free to go in and out of the nest. Tracking and tracing is today not a question in Europe. Are we going to do it, or we are not going to do it? It is actually a law. All eggs produced in this part of the world have to be coded. And each code is actually representing the method in which way the egg is produced. Code number 0 on the egg means organic egg production. Number 1 means the birds can have access outside. They can go to a range. Number 2 means barn egg, and that means the birds are being kept in the barn, in the house, free. They cannot go outside. And then number 3, it's called eggs produced in enriched cages. Each code, as you can see, has a number, has the country. For example, what you see here is NL, that means the Netherlands, and each farm is registered. And this number is, for example, a farm in the Netherlands with the number 4352401. So all those eggs are being possible to be traceability. yeah, to find out who is the producer. We as the Vencomatic Group, we make complete solutions for the poultry industry, for breeders, for broilers, and today we want to talk about layers. And if you want to set up a layer farm somewhere in the world, it is most important to find out a good location. A location where you have water, where you have electricity, and also where you are aware of the climate, where there are people available to do the daily work in your operation, where you have access to roads for selling your products to the city. And if possible, that's the best scenario, no other poultry farms around your location. And the climate, many people are underestimating the climate. When you start a poultry operation, the climate is essential to know, because the climate is actually giving you the density per square meter, the way of ventilation, etc., etc. So the climate, I always ask when people are coming to get consultancy for a poultry operation, I always ask the first question, how is the climate every month? What can you expect? Because the climate is really, really important. And then, of course, what kind of method you are willing, or what kind of method you want to have to produce your table eggs. And I have tried to explain it in 3 production methods. The one, we call it deep litter systems. The second one, we call it aviary systems. And a big proportion, it's called cage systems. So you can produce eggs in a cage, either in aviary or in deep litter. It depends, of course, of your preferences and what you like to go into. If you want to set up a deep litter farm, you have to decide what type of housing I'm going to construct, or what type of housing I'm going to use. Is it a closed house, totally environment controlled, or is it a natural ventilated house? Or is it also your production cycle will be, you put the chicks in and you keep them till the end of lay, all in or out? Do you want to use mechanical nesting systems? Or you want to still use manual nest boxes where you collect eggs by hand? You need to look for sled systems, water systems, what type of feeding I want to use, what type of lighting I want to put in my house, and of course, ventilation systems. Because, gentlemen and ladies, it is very important, ventilation is also a key. If the ventilation is not correct, your bird density has to be very low. If your ventilation system is really top of the bill, you can have a high density per square meter concerning the hens. And what you see in the pictures, you see a nesting system where the bird can go in, and in the evening we are closing that system by lifting the floor. We also use in that system a rubber pad, and the rubber pad is very friendly for your eggs. The rubber pad also supplies very clean eggs, no spots on the egg, no rolling rings, no dust rings, nothing. It creates the optimum egg. And then in the evening, we close the nest system by lifting up the floor. So all the dirt will drop on the floor and no birds can enter during night. That is what we actually call the deep litter system. Another method of producing eggs, it's called the aviary farm system. In that aviary farm, we put systems in. Different levels are reasonable for the bird, and nesting system is integrated. The perch system is integrated. Light system is all integrated in the system. But to be successful with that type of system, you need a really good rearing system to train your pullets to jump high, to find the feed, to find the water. I can tell you, if you are going into that type of egg production and the rearing system is not correct, don't do it. It will be a disaster. The third method, it's the cage system, which is quite familiar in Nigeria and many other countries in the world. And if you all know, you have a lot of different type of cages. You have step cages, you have H-frame cages, you have cages with manure belts, you have cages with automatic egg collecting, you have cages where the droppings are falling on the floor, you have cages where the droppings are falling in a channel and the manure scraper will take out the manure on a daily or on a weekly basis. And you have cage systems where the droppings are falling 2 meters down on the floor. It is all familiar with all your people, but each system has the positive points, but also negative points. And I can tell you that if you are going into cage production methods, you really have to consider that the after sales, the maintenance has to be done quite good. Yeah. In your analysis about profits and losses, it is really important to have good mechanical people and to have a certain percentage of your purchase price. You have to reserve it for the maintenance costs. That will also be in the aviary system. In the deep litter system, those costs are minor. But if you go into egg collecting systems, you need to pack your eggs, and we also have solutions for that. But again, the egg is the center of everything. And we always say, so important is your egg quality. And in many cases, you can influence your egg quality. In some cases not. Yeah? If you have a disease, IB or some disease, you cannot influence your eggshell quality. But you can actually, you can work on egg quality, clean eggs, no crack eggs. And what I wanted to show you is that in the end, the number of sellable eggs is very, very important. Of course, the feed conversion is very important as well. But the total number of sellable eggs, yeah, that makes money for you. But I can also tell you that in the Netherlands, we have many laying farms, but each laying farm has a different economic result. And many people are asking, how is it possible? The pullet is the same, the feed is the same, the labor costs are the same. But after concluding all these issues, very, very important is egg quality, number of sellable eggs, and feed conversion. Because your neighbor farmer can have a better feed conversion or better egg quality with the same pullets, with the same management, but he's still making more profit. The rubber pad, what I emphasized, it's really important to use the rubber pad in the nesting system. Yeah, you can see it here. You have many ways to collect eggs at your farm, many ways. You can see on the left, a deep litter system, you collect eggs from your egg belt, you put the eggs in the egg tray, and then you transport them to your selling points. The second picture from the left, you see a cage system where eggs are still collected manually by hand. People are walking in the length, collecting the eggs, bringing the eggs to the egg room. It requires a lot of labor, and I can tell you, it also gives you a lot of breaking eggs. The third picture from the left, you see a cage system where the eggs are being collected per row on the table. You need people to go in the house and to collect eggs from that table. The picture in the middle, you see a cage system where we have installed a plastic rod conveyor in front, which is collecting the eggs per row and bringing the eggs to a central egg collecting room, where a packing machine is being placed, which is packing the eggs either in small boxes of 10 or 12 or on crates of 30. And then on the right hand picture, you see a modern egg packing facility with 160,000, 200,000 laying hens. It's all done with 2 persons. But it's also important, if you produce table eggs on your farm, how do I get my eggs? If you don't have a manual, if you don't have an auto system, how do I bring my eggs to the egg room in my farm? The best is to use really quality crates, strong crates. You put them on the plastic pallet. You top them off with dividers, and then you can carry them in your truck or in the pickup even. I've seen this being done to your egg room and where those eggs are handled further. That is really important. Yeah, it will save you more or less between 1 and 1.5% higher revenue if you use this type of egg transporting system. Top of the art, it is called Maxius. And what is Maxius? Maxius is actually an IT. It's an IT solution which we have introduced last year in the Vencomatic group. And we work with cameras, and those cameras are actually checking your eggs coming out of the egg belt. They are counting the eggs. They are detecting egg cracks. They are detecting egg breakage. If you have, for example, a central rod conveyor system to your packer, we put the detecting device between your rod conveyor and the packer. And if you have broken eggs, the packer and the rod conveyor will stop and you take those eggs out. So it really prevents dirty eggs and it creates a lot of really clean eggs. So that is also what we call the Maxius family. Maybe in Nigeria it's a little bit on the moment too high on the moment, but it will definitely come. I guarantee you. As I told you before, we are also producing packing machines. For each farm type, we have the perfect solution. We have the perfect packing machine, and all those packing machines are putting the eggs top down, except the speed pack 220. But what we have said is, if you are collecting the eggs manually, a person can collect more or less 3,000 eggs per hour. If you use a Princeton 50 machine with a capacity of 18,000 eggs per hour, you can save quite some people. And what I have tried to show you here is the smaller machines going up to the really big machines for 80,000 eggs per hour. We are also started in Nigeria to install this type of machines, very successful. And I hope after this seminar that we can talk, or you can talk with Dr. Rotemi to see what is possible in your operation. The traceability of those eggs can be either with a printing machine or with a stamping machine. And the stamping machine is putting your logo. If you want to put a logo on the egg, A printing machine, it's a different piece of cake. A printing machine is putting the date and the number on your egg, and even a small logo if you require a small logo so people can see, oh, this egg is coming from my farm, from my family. But there's another very important point. Many people, many salespeople say, yeah, my machine is the best for that and that reason. But I can tell you one thing. In our company, we have one son of the owner, we call him the small professor, and he invented the green egg. And what is the green egg doing? Actually, the green egg is identifying the shock each egg gets in the machine, or each egg gets in a transfer point from a rod conveyor to the machine. So actually we are able to identify with this green eggs the smooth transfer and the smooth machines which are working fine. So every machine which is leaving our factory is being tested with those eggs. And those eggs actually, they tell you, hey, this transfer point is not good enough, so we have to do something about it. Or, hey, this machine is too rough for the eggs, so we have to check the settings. And that is called the green egg, the GREG, the green egg. It is very useful, and our installers and our partners, our dealers or agents are using this type of egg in a small box. They come to you and they check the impact from the point of lay till your machine. It's called the green egg, artificial egg, electronic egg. I'm very proud on our installation team in Africa, because during COVID-19 and still today, we see that with the teams we are using and which we have trained in the Netherlands, they do a fantastic job, very successfully, very professionally, and I'm very happy that we have the teams on the ground. If you have any questions, thank you for your attention, and